other people in my phone. I'm currently reading Agua Viva by Clarice Lispector. I'm on page 21. It's like 90 pages total, so I still have quite a bit left, but I kind of want to finish it this evening. This is translated from Portuguese by Stefan Tobler. I've heard amazing things about this book, and I'm feeling like it could be a 5-star read. I read Near to the Wild Heart by Clarice Lispector, and I think I gave that around 3.5 stars. This is even more stream of consciousness than Near to the Wild Heart. It is just passages and lines and paragraphs of thought that are all correlating to the same idea of present tense and almost this like etymological analysis of the present. I don't even know how to explain it. I think that because it is so stream of consciousness, it's difficult to analyse. I just know that I'm loving it. I'm doing some research at the moment into memory and what that means and how it can craft us as humans. I'm going to be doing a different video on this research. I want to do a different series on here that I've kind of been putting in the works in the back of my mind for like 2 years, and I really want to do it now. But because I'm reading Agua Viva and it fits into this idea of the haunting memory of the future in the present, and so far there's almost this idea that the present is the wheel of fate, and that, like I said, the future haunts the present. There cannot be a present that is not haunted by the existence of the past and the foreshadowing or the pre-telling of the future. Lispector kind of dissects the present as this absorption of different timelines. Like the present, the moment of the present isn't even present itself because it is always correlated to these different timelines that coexist within it. And I think that the way she's crafting this analysis of the present in this very stream of consciousness narration is just so brilliant. One of my favourite quotes so far is on page 11, and it says, "I who am all of this must by fate and tragic destiny only know and taste the echoes of me, because I cannot capture the me itself." Honestly, I think that Clarice Lispector could be up there with one of my new favourite authors of all time. I think I'm going to go and read now though, because I want to read it. I'm hyping it up for myself. I really want to go and read it. Finally read their first 5-star read of the year. I finished reading Agua Viva that night and I didn't feel my thoughts because it was midnight and I just wanted to go to bed, but I did rate it 5 stars. I've written down my thoughts in my journal so we can go over them. As I said already, this has been translated from Portuguese. It really looks at, with this idea of past, present, future, how malleable existence and literature can be. It almost tries to ascertain meaning of existence and life, but also it is not succinct and it is not concise, and there are so many questions that are left unanswered, and that is the entire point. It's full of these almosts and this like fragmentalism, or which is like one of my favorite things at the moment, but this fragmentation of identity and existence and literature and time and all of these different facets of creation and curation and how they intertwine with each other. It's also got a relatively nostalgic perspective, I feel, because it's looking at the ideas of the self in tandem with past, present and future. So because we're analysing in the book how each of these things are basically the same thing, because the future can't exist without the present, which is irrelevant regardless of the past. And because all three of these things are narrated as one whole, is nostalgic preemptively, I don't want to say like posthumously, is that how you say it? But that's kind of what I'm meaning, that it's like even the nostalgia is irrelevant to the actual time. Clarice Lispector is trying to hold on to different pieces of the self from the past, present and future and explaining those with the others. I feel like I've not explained that well, but I know what, I rated it 5 stars and I loved it. And now I'm going on a little solo reading day. I'm going to start the second book of this video, so I'll see you later with some thoughts. Of the way through The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yōko Ogawa. This was translated from Japanese by Stephen Snyder, I think. So far, I am loving it. I think I read 40% in the cafe and then 10% when I got home. My original plan for this evening was to watch a film and do some art stuff, but I really just want to keep reading this. It is so beautiful, and it means a lot saying that because it is so heavily based in maths. As much as a lot of it is like low-level maths, like factors and prime numbers. I hate maths, and the fact that I'm enjoying it and even understanding a lot of it says a lot. It is just so amazing. The 3 main characters in this are... they're so cute, and I'm loving reading about them. They're all so different, but they're so intertwined with each other. The synopsis of this book is that the housekeeper goes to the professor's house, and he was in some kind of automobile accident, so he can only remember 80 minutes at a time. So his clothing is constantly adorned with like letters and notes to himself on things he has to remember. And one of them is the housekeeper and her son Root. It's so beautiful and saddening how much they're growing together and learning about each other and teaching each other. Even when it's so heavily based in maths, they're still teaching each other human connection, I suppose. I love when I don't have any expectations of what the plot is going to do going forward. I don't tend to read books and think that I know what the next step in the plot is going to be. I do kind of theorise if it's a fantasy, but often I think that I'm a bad reader because I'm like missing bits. But most of the time I just get to the end and I'm like, wow, I didn't see that coming at all because I wasn't thinking about it whilst I was reading. That's how I feel about The Housekeeper and the Professor. So far, not getting a 5-star feeling, but definitely I'm gonna rate it highly. Like I said, I have no idea how the ending of this book is gonna be. I've still got like 100 pages left. I'm gonna sit and read it now and then hopefully I'm gonna finish it tomorrow. But I'm so excited to see where it goes. I've since finished reading the second book of this video, which is The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yōko Ogawa. I think I've already said, but it's translated from Japanese and I rated it 4 stars in the end. Again, I have my thoughts written down, so we're going to go through them. I think that stories of memory and preemptive nostalgia are always going to hit for me. This one is very much a very gentle and endearing foretelling of grief and simultaneous gratitude and the understanding that grief will happen endlessly, but also knowing that you can be thankful for the experiences that you have had before that has happened. For the main 3 characters in this book, but especially the housekeeper, she definitely finds fulfillment in utility and making herself useful. But I also think that that can be extended to the professor and the housekeeper's son Root, especially in this learned love for maths, where the housekeeper and her son are learning from the professor the intimacy and the intricacies that come with mathematics, and almost how they are increasingly beguiled by this understanding and the complexity of maths, and how rewarding it is to, I can't think of the word for it, but to dig into the research surrounding maths and the specific formulas that they're researching and they're trying to solve. My interpretation of this book is that maths is this extended metaphor for human connection. It really explores the fundamentalism of connection and how foundational human connection is to life itself. Because of the fact that maths is so inherent in the professor's life, because he only remembers 80 minutes at a time, his foundation of life is maths, and he uses different formulas to communicate different emotions with the people around him. That being said, my least favourite thing about this book was the baseball references. If you thought I don't understand maths, then I understand baseball even less. It was endearing, like the fact that they went to the games and they knew so much and the professor was using maths to explain the baseball games and all of the details surrounding the sport. Very endearing, very cute, but I didn't understand a thing of it. Like, they were explaining baseball using maths. That made it make even less sense to me. But regardless of the baseball and the maths, I rated it 4 stars. So I really liked it. But now that I've finished The Housekeeper and the Professor, I get to move on to, or I have moved on to, the last book of this video. I went out today and I started reading, so I'll put on some clips of my day and then I'll get back to you later with my thoughts. I've actually finished reading the third and final book of this video, which is Notes of a Crocodile by miaojin. This is translated from Chinese by Bonnie Huey. I think it'd be how you pronounce the translator's name. In the end, I think I'm giving this around 3 stars. And of course, my thoughts are in my journal. Notes of a Crocodile is essentially a collection of journal entries from the perspective of an anonymous lesbian narrator in Taiwan in the late 1980s. It's a very fragmented form of writing. It's partially epistolary in the form of letters, but there are also bits of introspection and bits of connection where there's like relationships happening. And then there are also these interludes of the crocodile epidemic in society where crocodiles are being seen as like taking over, or just like from the perspective of the crocodile. This is why I didn't rate it so highly. Unlike the other 2 books that I read with Notes of a Crocodile, you need some cultural understanding. And I'll give you the cultural understanding so you can read it and enjoy it, because it's a brilliant book. Essentially, in Taiwan, people are called crocodiles if they're lesbians, is what I gathered. So where it's written Notes of a Crocodile and it's also journal entries from our narrator, both of these things are from crocodiles, which is basically queer lived experience in Taiwan. It's essentially just this referential term that they're using that I didn't know until I was researching afterwards, like, what is this crocodile thing? I did kind of have my theories, but I didn't know it was a genuine thing. I thought it was just like a metaphor from the author to say about monstrous presentations of queerness. It would be fine to read if you knew the context like you do now, or if you were from Taiwan, or if you were a queer Taiwanese reader. I just am none of those things, so I didn't get it until now, but you do. Thematically, Notes of a Crocodile is very uncensored. It's very forthcoming with these different ideas of queerness and violence, and very much a self-destructive and avoidant nature and perspective of love. It's very self-destructive in general, but it's also full of yearning, and it's simultaneously this very romanticized idea of love, but also unromanticized reality. There are a lot of quotes in this that I either thought were beautiful or that I just related to, and I think it's a really beautiful read, especially knowing the context of it. In reading that, I've now finished reading for this reading vlog. I'm actually hoping to post this video in an hour. So it's currently Sunday at like 8 PM. I had so much fun reading. I realised I didn't film an intro, but what can you do? These have been they've just been so amazing. Definitely Clarice Lispector. I've had some other recommendations through posting videos, like short form videos. And Yōko Ogawa has a book called The Memory Police, which I'd love to read. And miaojin has a book called Last Words from a Moth, which I think is what it's called. I'd quite like to read that. But I think that one's very deep, so maybe I can do... Oh, that could be quite fun actually. I could do a follow-up to this and read one more book by each of these authors. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in my next video.